are aroused. I haven't seen people so aroused in a very, very long time.
Do not come. Do not come.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fun Ship Pod, our Sunday evening shit show. Hi, Strike and Pat and everyone. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Wow, what a week. I mean, since our last show, there has been a lot of solidarity, aka violent crimes committed against warehouses, and I'm here for it.
It's
Hello.
kind of feeling like the revolution is getting going. They've given us no other
It started. That and Swalwell's going down. We were the first people to call out the hypocrisy with his bullshit, and
that was good timing. Good timing on our
getting
part.
some wins.
We were right ahead of it. We had some great interviews last week, and
Absolutely.
I am exhausted, but really happy to be here. Just as a reminder, everyone, please do smash that notification bell, like, subscribe. We so appreciate all of your comments and retweets, and we are trying to get back into the habit of, putting out more content during the week. So we will be able to get back on that this week. Last week was a little bit hectic for us, but it was great to have the privilege to talk to so many people. So that was really cool. We're excited to be back. Sunday Night Shit Show. Here we are.
Shit show. Here we go. And we're I don't know. I forget who suggested it, but we are renaming our Thursday show. So we will have that.
You don't know? Wait, you don't know who suggested it?
I forgot. Who was it?
Gosh, Pat, I have no idea.
No, not didn't. I thought you got it from someone in chat saying we should do it.
You know what? It might have been the Runs too.
I mean, I'm not trying to claim it for me.
I know.
I'm just saying.
But I don't
Somebody
take it away. The Runs, was it?
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to go
Somebody
back.
Somebody brought it up.
We
anyway,
sort of talked about it, but yes. But anyway, hello. We've got Myra, hello, and allegedly in Alberta, hello, sir. Yes, ousting Orban. That's a good day, especially since JD Vance took his ass there how many times to make the plea for that far right leader. Love to see that everything Trump touches turns to shit. Hogel, hello. And this was Pat, you will see soon, trying to rig the poll of who's right, Pat or Lila.
Yeah, I mean, you can get started right now if you want. Please vote. Your vote is very important. Very, very important.
We haven't said anything yet. We're saying hi. Lee,
fine.
We got the Runs and Hester. Hello, Truth. BDA. Hello. I'm starting to lag now. Zizu. Hello. And Susan. Adria. Flashkenberger. Just want to make sure before my eyes get too blurry with all the wine. David. Hello. Carl's. Very nice to see everybody. Sunny, and thank you for your suggestions. I have written down those names, and this will be the week that we follow up with people that we haven't already invited onto the show, but really appreciate all of your comments. And Josie, hello. Yeah, I think it was the Runs too. I feel like we had talked about it at one point, not to take anything away from the Runs, but but anyway, yes, I'm excited for that. Hello, Wally and Kat. Hello, happy Sunday.
Hello, everybody.
Kimiko, hello. All right. Do you have anything you want to say before we get to our cheers? Do you want to tell me about your...
Nothing exciting to report in my own life, but I have a good beer that's local, Mystic Cloud from Oak Park Brewing.
I like it.
Which, Oak Park used to be it's one of those, the downside and upside of gentrification. So it was a very dangerous community, just flat out it was. And now it's way less so, but it's also white and people with money now. So it's kind of a weird mix. I mean, there's still some in the old community there still, obviously, but it's, it's complicated, but
it really is. it's complicated when you're living in the moment of it. When you step back, I mean, I know you know this, it's obviously not complicated. It's very clear what's happening and that the system is working as designed and all that awful stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's hard when you're living in it. It's like, well, we could invest all that money in the community, but like that, you know, it's taken generations to destroy communities, and it won't happen overnight. So it's very
Right.
difficult. But yes, I understand what you're saying. All right.
All right.
We just get started.
Onward.
Okay.
Let's cheers it up.
We're going to cheers it up. So Pat is indulging me with this one. This just like made me happy, especially then when I dug in a little bit to this woman's social media. So the Pacers had a fan cam 3 nights ago, and they caught an exchange or a fight between a couple on the fan cam. This is Grace and Michael at a Pacers game. And you can't hear anything, but just look at his body language and hers, and then read her lips. That's you. That's you. What the fuck are you talking about? Is what she says. And he was doing all of this and explaining. And then as soon as she does that, he's like, yeah, you're kind of right. Right. So people were really like, what is going on? It's so funny. And there were all these memes like, I side with her, or look at how convincing she was because she told him, and right away. And people didn't know the backstory of it and all that kind of stuff. So let me get up here. So this is Grace. And she says, so the guy, Alex Golden, who's like Pacer fan, he has a Pacers fan radio show, TV show, podcast deal, right? So Pacers TV had these fans on the broadcast, and she is not having it. He's laughing. And after he finally stops yapping, she says, that's you. What the fuck are you talking about? She quote tweets it and says, I'm crying. I love my boyfriend. This is just how we talk, which is very funny because that's how Josh and I have been talking since 1992. Like, we're just always like, you know. This post of hers got 247,000 likes and like millions of views. Right away, she added to it and said, who can match my $40 donation to my dear friend Mo, who feeds the cats of Gaza? Which really made me love her. The final stage of grief is not happiness, but acceptance. When you accept what has happened, not because you agree with it, but because you have stopped fighting it, your new journey begins. Acceptance does not mean forgetting. It means that the pain hurts. And he feeds cats around Gaza, so she is helping raise money with him. And then the other thing that I thought was very funny is she showed a screen grab of her text exchange with a friend to let the friend know what they were talking about. That's when we were talking about the practical skills of a liberal arts education. And I just love it. I love it. Like, she's obviously very bookish. So is he. They are full on with liberal arts education, which I think all should be, because we need some brain power in this world that is not only STEM. Like, we need literature, we need arts, we need creativity, we need the ability to think and not just recite things wrote back, you know? So I just kind of dug it.
And look, as society moves more towards automation and AI, creativity and free thinking and liberal arts are more important than ever, and more valuable and more rare.
Yeah. And they are not. Yeah, exactly. You can't replace that with AI. And as we have a whole segment on AI, which is, I mean, you know, so many of the absurdities that are happening would be funny if they weren't also lethal for all of us one way or the other. But yes, we need people who know how to read, who have the focus to sit down with a book and read, not just, 140 character kind of things, or, right. Like, and listen, I didn't get on social media until I was in my 40s or late 30s, whatever it was. But like, I had my whole childhood, my whole college career. I had at least 10 years after college to know how to focus and read literature and not be distracted. And I'm losing it. So, just think about people growing up in this reality, which is necessary. They have to know how to do it, but like they also have to know how to read and focus and tune everything else out, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately for young people, as technology progresses, like it won't be a phase for them. Like it's not going to be like you go from your teens to adulthood to later adulthood and you sort of evolve your thinking as people normally do. That structure built into society now, it's going to ask less of you personally all along the way, and it's easier to just drift into nothing. I don't know. I mean, it's. I'm not saying this is what's happening to teens. I'm just saying that what's mapped out in front of you is really bleak. So embrace the arts and embrace what matters, please.
Yeah, and community and like real interactions. I have to say, I mean, I don't know if I'm just really lucky or if maybe there's like a newfound attention to this, but like my kids pick up the phone to talk to their friends and they see their friends in person all the time, So like, I love that. I think that because that's what I used to love, right? Like I used to just love hanging out. We'd sit there and like listen to music and just talk for hours. There was no plan, I just hope that people get that.
Yeah. Well, humans are good at evolving, and like we can't fear technology and changes.
Right.
Ultimately harm the next generation by default, but capitalism is going to get worse by default, which has that built in now and a level it didn't used to. So
yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, so we've preached enough. That was my choice. I sprung it on Pat. Spring.
I love the meme. Memes are great. She looked so memeable. I was very curious what the real conversation was about. Yeah, I'd like to know more.
It was great. And then, also, if you do happen to look her up, Grace Camille with then underscore, her picture is Hillary Clinton with blonde dreadlocks. Like she's a total lefty. She's making fun of liberals and
good
DNC.
shit.
Yeah, like it just kind of was like a fun little rabbit hole to go down. Nice. All right, here we go. Time to spin the wheel. We've got what's happening here? Oh boy, I'm just telling you, my StreamYard is really lagging today. I'm warning everybody. Here we go. Let's see. And of course that's so low.
Hey,
all right. Nice. Here we go.
Let's go with Brandon Reisdorf. I don't know, but some music.
Every day them get up and look on TV, them read the newspaper. Them want to say the truth, but them can't say the truth because the truth will not be found there. That is why the man said this revolution will be telepathic.
Welcome to America. It's 2042. You might notice a few changes or a different point of view. We had a bunch of bad times, but it's all been rearranged so you can make yourself at home. We're all so happy that you came. Ever since the revolution, we're all working for ourselves. On trains and schools and wildlife and healthcare based on health. The only thing we ask is try to chip in if you're able. I mean, a person's gotta eat. Come help us build a real big table. Just look out into the world. All this humanity is you. Wipe away that little teardrop, 'cause we still got work to do. Once that broken war machine was making its own plans, we figured out some better things to build with our own hands. We got rid of the boss men, sent the mean ones back to school for however long it takes for them to learn that golden rule. Just look out into the world. All this humanity is you. Wipe away that little teardrop, 'cause we still got work to do. You and all your neighbors. Can you picture it in your head? Why would anyone live to work when we could work to live instead? Just look out into the world. Why don't you tell me what you see? All this humanity is you. All this humanity is me. Wipe away that little teardrop, come and sing it with the band, 'cause we still got work to do. We got a world to build again. Yeah, we still got work to do. We got a world to build again. Oh, we got so much work to do. We could use your helping hand.
I love that. That's awesome. Brandon Reisdorf.
Yeah, I mean, I just liked it because, I mean, it's simple and corny, but like we can, it's aspirational on what we could have if we just somewhere between now and 2042 get off our ass and do things to more warehouses, which it's been a good week for warehouse haters.
Good week for the working class to let the CEO class, the capital class, know we are agitated. You're not happy.
It is. This has been FAFA week, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely. You know, I'm sort of like, I was sort of thinking we would save that till the end as a release, but maybe we pepper it through. What do you think? What's the way we do it?
Yeah. However, there's so much of it. Yeah, we should just hit a couple notes of it and then.
Okay. All right.
Anytime we get a little down, we'll show a warehouse burning or something.
It'll be like our
spin the wheel. Which warehouse gets taken down today?
Up thing. Okay. So I, because I'm so OCD, I had put it all like in the order of how it should go, but
do it in order.
Let's just do it. All right. This is the warehouse fire that you are talking about. It is in, where is it? It's near me, I think. It's not, sorry.
Oh, the LA, the paper.
It's down in Orange County now. I can't remember. But anyway, or Oxnard, I can't remember now. But anyway, a 29-year-old guy had enough. Jamel Abdul Karim had enough with his employers.
Should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
There goes your inventory. All you had to do.
And I quote me if I'm wrong on the numbers, but I think it was like $150 million worth of inventory or something.
I think so. They said it affects 3% of the U.S. supply chain for toilet paper. I mean, I will say, like, listen, I am all for getting rid of evil people. This was a major fire in California. Ontario is that Oxnard? I'm looking it up. I'm so bad with my all right, whatever, I'll look it up later. But anyway, we've had horrible wildfires and all that kind of stuff. I'm glad that it was contained. I'm glad, that possibly it is alerting people to the issue, which is, I think that when somebody tabulated the man's income with what he was paid, which, it always sounds like a lot if you look at the hourly thing for somebody who is maybe not here or who doesn't normally work, right? I think he's making like $66,000 a year. But in Los Angeles and the surrounding area, in California, you have to make over $100,000 truly to support yourself. So that's a big gap, especially when you are with a multi-billion-dollar company, right? So,
well, yeah, and just put it in perspective. The guy makes $66,000 a year. He's going to jail for probably 20, 30 years now.
Yeah, they said, I think 10 if he's convicted, yeah.
Well, no, but they're going for federal charges on top. They're
Oh.
charging him for each fire started individually, as if they're individual crimes. So when you see him starting this fire and that, the law has a lot of dirty ways to fucking stack up
Wow.
crimes. But
that's,
but anyway, to go to that level, I mean, it just speaks for itself. If $66,000 was a living wage, he's not burning down a fucking warehouse and going to jail for
right.
10 to 20 years.
Yeah. They have made people's lives so miserable. And that's right. He is not guilty. He is innocent until
Completely innocent.
possibly
Wasn't him.
proven.
He was on PUP live whenever that fire happened.
The thing is, and I know we talk about this all the time, but the social murder that is meted upon all of us by our capitalist evil government, they are fine with that. They are fine just saying, listen, the bottom line means 68,000 people have to die every year from lack of ability to see a doctor. That's the cost of doing business, folks. That's the US. And that's the good team. That's the 99% Hitler team. Says that universal health care is a magical pony, right? The magical pony team also says that a living wage was too much at $15 an hour in 2016. Really should only be $12. And nobody's talking about what it should really be, which is $35 an hour, like right now, not a phase in. And you take it from taxing the wealthy and putting a cap on the proportion of, or the ratio of what the CEO makes to the lowest wage earner at his company, her company, whatever, right? Those are ways.
Yeah, and there's so many labor laws we need in place now to protect workers that don't exist. Like, if your company is making profits, you can't fire a certain percentage of people, period. I mean, you're benefiting. These people helped get you to this beneficial place. So you need some justification why everyone else at the top of the company is getting richer and richer, why you need to fire people. I mean, this is basic.
And then what happens is when people do unionize, the company either doesn't meet with the union, like Amazon, or they shut down that division, or that one outfit, whatever, like that's happening with Apple stores. It happens with Starbucks stores, right? They say, oh, this one's no longer sustainable. We're not making enough of a profit. So there are all sorts of ways that they shut down our democracy and decide that we don't get a voice. And so at a certain point that is what you're going to see. That's exactly what you're going to see.
That's what we're going to see. And you're going to see more people shooting at doors of politicians that make bad decisions.
All right, let's we're bringing that next one in.
Oh, okay. Why not? Let's go.
We just go. I mean, you can set it up if you want. Yeah. Kimberly-Clarke. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that one. That one's okay. This is This is City Council member Ron Gibson in Indianapolis. Big supporter of data centers, which his community absolutely did not want.
The FBI is now investigating after more than a dozen shots were fired into the home of an Indianapolis city councilor.
My son was at home, so that says a lot about his humanity or her humanity. I don't know if it's a male or female. I don't know who it is, but I would just want to know why.
Ron Gibson says 13 shots were fired into his door and a note was found reading "No data centers." Days earlier, he voiced support for a controversial plan to build a local data center, a project like hundreds of others nationwide that have become a flashpoint in the race to further develop artificial intelligence.
Construction is expected to support roughly 300 jobs over a 3-year period.
Despite the opposition,
if you were here against the project, quietly stand up.
The project is moving forward. Right now, about 3,000 data centers are being built or planned across the country. They use huge amounts of electrical power, often requiring costly upgrades to local power grids and higher electric bills for local residents.
People's energy bills around the country are skyrocketing.
Some Democrats want new regulations, but President Trump recently announced tech companies have agreed to absorb the costs.
These companies are committing to provide or pay for all power generation and electricity needed for their AI projects.
Bloomberg reports about half the data centers scheduled to open this year will face delays or cancellation because of difficulty buying foreign-made electronics needed for those projects.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that the tone of that piece, like I'm shocked actually that corporate media was sort of siding with the anti-data center people, even when, like, normally they would highlight the one person who they would regard as a criminal and look what he did and the violence and, you know, like the guy said, his humanity. Where's your humanity?
Yeah. But they also, you know, you're right. They normally do a much worse take,
Right.
less balanced. But they did show Trump in a good light, sort of relating to it as saying, like, well, no, like, the government hears you, so now the electricity part of it is all going to be absorbed, which is not true. That's not true at all. So, yeah.
It's not true. And even if it were true, it's like the offset, you know, carbon footprint stuff where it's like, we'll just pay a fine, right? So you're still destroying the ecosystem and the air and the water and like the buzzing even that can make people go crazy who live near there, right?
Well, and just take the councilman's own justification for it. 300 jobs for 3 years. That's fucking butt kiss.
Yeah.
300 jobs for harming the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and the economic impact and the environmental impact.
Yep.
And 300 jobs for 3 years and then it's like 7 jobs. I mean, this is not a sustainable equation.
Right, exactly. 300 jobs. And as you know, I know we all know this, but as we all say, like, even if the bubble weren't bursting, if everything goes according to plan, those are intended to replace all of us and our
the end goal,
money, right? So like it all sucks. There's nothing good about this. Yeah.
No, and I mean I think we need to learn something from Iran in this case.
Yeah.
You know, the Strait, well, nothing's going to get through it. You're going to vote in a data center we don't want? Guess what? One way or another, it's not getting built. It's not going to be an end product. You are going to risk your big tanker truck to go through the Strait? Well, that thing costs you millions of dollars, just like that data center complex is going to cost you hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yep.
And it's going to be worth zero by the time you're done with it. So the risk associated with you bringing a data center against the will of the people anywhere is fucking not worth it for them even.
Yep. And, you know, I mean, I have to think that, I mean, I know that there was a lot of outcry against data centers before Trump and Israel started this war on Iran. And we already saw the likelihood of the bubble bursting. They were already pulling back some of the data centers that they've been planning to build. But what this has done has made the precious minerals and resources that they need to
harder to get.
Actually create these data centers harder to get. Plus, their financing from the Gulf countries is non-existent. So, you know,
Well, and another thing, I saw a video on this, but, you know, as an electrician, we see people that steal copper wire all the time. Like, you know, it's a lot of drug people will come around and just open up anything public and strip the wire from it to then sell the the raw copper part of it.
Right.
These data centers are all copper wire and gold shit. Just saying, copper wire and gold shit. There's a whole TikTok video on like how much wealth is in there for that, just from that part of it. So I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm sure they're going to use all their wonderful surveillance to, you know, they'll use surveillance. They'll have those barbed wire curly cute things on top of fences, which to me is a sign of the apocalypse. Like, if you have something that has to be protected like that, you deserve for it to be gone. And whatever you wish would happen to the person crawling over that should be the least that happens to you. Those are barbaric. I think it's just those like razor wire.
They're
barbed wire. Yeah. Disgusting. All right. Well, so are we just moving? Let's because we're in this. Let's do the sort of AI aspect of all of this because it kind of goes through lots of different avenues, but right now let's stick with that. So the Molotov cocktail was thrown at the home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. This was 2 days ago. San Francisco police this morning arrested a young suspect accused of tossing a Molotov cocktail at the home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. He has already been arrested, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, people know he is evil. And by the way, they are already pushing legislation that would limit their liability for the use. So he took over where Anthropic pulled out, even though, listen, I'm not under any illusions that, what's his name? Mario and Dario.
I don't know. You're a little underwater, Lola.
Oh, really?
When you get right away from the mic a little bit.
Dario Amodei. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Much better.
Josh moved all my stuff. But so he was upset that Anthropic was used in a way by the U.S. military that it was not supposed to be used, which was without a human making the final decision. But it still is a mass killing program, basically, is what it's used for, right? Like, gather up all the data and figure out how best to target the most people for a mass killing. I mean, that's what he's doing. But anyway, so he got in a big tiff with the Trump regime. So guess who swept in is OpenAI and Sam Altman. And so now he's pushing for this bill that would limit liability for AI-enabled mass deaths or financial disasters. The ChatGPT maker testified in favor of an Illinois bill that would limit when AI labs can be held liable, even in cases where their products cause critical harm. I mean, that's murder. What's the humanity there?
I'm sorry. And look, if these structures end up in place, replacing all of us largely, they're making a fuck ton of money. So it's not like their existence isn't even at threat with the liability. It's just pay up for your fucking mistakes when they happen,
Murder.
like a human would have to.
Yeah.
So you're saying a robot can replace me and the creator of the robot doesn't have to pay out money when the robot fucks up?
Yep.
Or AI. I mean, but
That's what it is,
it's
right?
ridiculous. These guys are getting so fucking filthy rich and they want to protect all liability and they own all our politicians. So all the politicians are green lighting all this protection.
Yep.
Enough's enough. More Molotovs, that's the lesson here.
Truly. Truly it is. So let's see. Is there one other thing? This guy is just so vile. Alex Karp, surveillance is better than China winning. Of course, that, he says that surveillance state is preferable to China winning the AI race. And then also both he and it's just funny, like in juxtaposition with people who are now trying to blow their shit up. But, they both are so delusional in how people see them or how they're thought of as these like alpha males. So this is Peter Thiel talking to Piers Morgan.
Perhaps the shocking thing is how poorly this rhetoric translates, or how low testosterone the left actually is.
Low testosterone. Look at that man. He's like peeling. He's melting. He looks like the Nazi at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Like he's just like a
that is so apt.
Ugh, so gross.
And he looks like he's taken a fuck ton of testosterone and it's not helping him. He looks like a Cro-Magnon little skinny guy still. But he it's a weird...
Drinks teenage blood or something. Like what? I mean, he is really off his rocker, and he's in charge of this regime, basically, on some level.
And all these nerds, because they have a ton of money, thinking they're somehow cool and they're connecting themselves to like right-wing memes and, anti-woke tech bro and testosterone. And like, no, you're just a little fucking narcissist nerd.
who's a mass killer.
Which is fine. Be a little nerd. I don't care about that part. But like
the mass killer part of it, right?
Yes.
Like, we were talking about like Columbine and Dylan Klebold, right? And everybody made fun. Like that was sort of like when we were all opened up to like these goth kids who were incels and nobody liked, and how like they were bullied and then took it out on everybody. But like that's what these guys are. That is who they are.
That's it.
And then this is Alex Karp, also low testosterone. I mean, these guys.
And I'll also say both parties, and again, let me just go to the party where I have more credibility. Like the way in which the Democrats just completely neglect males. Like there is nothing wrong, and it's admirable to be a somewhat to high testosterone male. And it's like you have the general vibe in the Democratic Party that it's like there's something wrong. I don't know. Like I just like, yeah, there's some way in which I don't find it very appealing as a dude. I don't think most dudes do. It's a huge problem, and you can't address it.
Most dudes, like you're such a dude. You're such a dork.
Walking around with his sword when he was being interviewed by one of those, YouTube shows.
I mean, this conversation and the testosterone piece reminds me of where my rabbit hole was today, which I didn't pull any of it, but I watched Neil deGrasse Tyson go on Piers Morgan, and then also debate the Jewish guy, the worst of them,
Ben Shapiro,
yeah,
right,
about trans issues. He went on both of them, and he's a nerd. He's as nerdy as fuck. Love the guy, I really do.
But
On almost everything.
About that? Like that.
So he crushed Pierce, and then he crushed Shapiro handedly.
That's good.
It was all like, why does it matter if there's a scientific basis for this stuff, or if it's related to environment, or if it's psychological? Do we live in America where you have free express yourself? Either we do or we don't. One of the anyway. Well, great.
Yeah, yes. Unfortunately, we don't. But yes, I mean, we're seeing how ridiculous it is right now, and it's just getting worse and worse here, and in the UK, and in Germany. Like it's really insane. But having these guys talk about like male energy and testosterone, good. Enjoy your Molotov cocktail and enjoy your data centers getting blown up.
Yeah. And it's always weird to me when these guys push all this male energy, and you're like, if women just liked you, you wouldn't be doing this. Like you are an incel. You're going to have your circle of manliness without women involved, which is the opposite of manly.
I agree with that, and that does seem to be, a common thread. Although I think, it really is just a cult of power. But yes, I mean, I don't think they especially like women, but they don't especially like men either. They just don't like humanity. I mean, truly. But yes, I totally agree with you. There is a particular strain of misogyny for sure. Okay, so a couple of things just to remind everybody what we're up against. I know you all know, but because then we're going to get into some sort of more silly examples of how AI, either hallucinates or flat out lies. But here is Alex Karp talking about selecting targets. Just the way they talk about ending a life. It's insane.
The obvious fact is, if you care about not being surveilled illegally, if you care about the treatment of people who come into the country illegally but deserve adequate treatment, if you care about lives in Gaza, in Ukraine, and all over the world where Palantir is used, you're going to want the best software in the world, because it's the only way you can reduce and more precisely target the people and justifiably, and actually the only way where you can say this person did this and they deserve to go. And so,
Has he seen what Gaza looks like? It's flattened. How anybody could say that you're targeting a terrorist? Like, I don't even know why they need the data. They've just leveled everything. What difference does it make?
Yeah, and your AI shouldn't ever determine that person needs to go. It should be determined maybe they committed a crime and we need to hold a trial and then figure things out. But you're just gonna they got to go.
Yeah.
And they literally have technology with a little drone this big that puts a bullet in your head now and explodes. So this is very real, and it's not like sci-fi 20 years from now even. It's sci-fi now.
They are, I mean, I know we all know this, but they use Gaza as a laboratory and then go to these weapons conventions and brag about what they did how their technology was used in Gaza, in the West Bank, on Russians, right? Like they brag about the death and destruction that they bring to the world. And again, like, I don't understand when you look at what Gaza looks like, how that aligns with him saying targeting specific people. Like, you reduced everything to rubble. Where's anybody could do that? Just drop a bomb, which is what
the bottom line is their AI was used to justify killing all these innocent people. Hey, find us a connection to Hamas for the 4-year-old girl walking to school right now. Oh, okay. Well, now that's justified because, she was highly likely to grow up Hamas because her dad was Hamas. Well, her dad wasn't really Hamas. He just worked at a place where a Hamas person used to deliver food once in a while or something. And that's a connection. Hey, maybe they're going to get it wrong, but you can't sue them. So
you cannot, because look at that. We're going to get that bill. Just you wait. This is crazy. You might want to get rid of all of your notifications on your smartphones because they are stored and the FBI can use them even if you think that you've deleted all of your messages. It's still within your notifications, so they can find something, just some tangential reason to decide that you're a terrorist. The FBI has successfully extracted deleted signal messages from a suspect's iPhone via notification storage, the place where all your notifications are stored for up to 1 month. I am turning mine off because that's no bueno.
You got the video on the TVs too, right?
This is insane. Yeah.
So let me just tell you, I watched this video, which Lila pulled, and then went to my Roku TV, and sure enough, all this shit was checked that allowed them to do all this illegal shit. I mean, it's illegal, but whatever. It allowed them to do all this surveillance and sharing of my information, what I'm doing, what I'm looking at, everything. And it's on your TV. So it's not even just the TV feed. So my computer runs what I watch on TV. Right. They got all of it. Everything from my computer shown on that TV is covered and transferred to people and AI systems.
Because that's really what this is a gathering of all the data to compile. That's why, like, when people are like, I've got nothing to hide, just when they don't want you around, whatever you don't think you have to hide is something that will still be used against you. It doesn't matter if you're not saying anything illegal. It will be made illegal, and they will find those connections through culling through all of your data, and then that's it.
And even if they don't change the laws, they can make a case against you. Like, for example, you committed they want to paint you as someone who's a terrorist, right? And some terrorist action happened nearby. Well, your TV is going to look at your search records, see that you watch Punch Up Pod, so you're Hamas, probably. And then your Wi-Fi network can also identify when you weren't in and out of your home, because these Wi-Fis that we buy from Xfinity and whatnot, they have the capability of determining where you are walking in your house at all times, right? They can see physical bodies and portray them in their software on their end of what's happening in your household. So they can say, well, if we call him a terrorist, we can say the crime happened at this time and his Wi-Fi shows he wasn't home at that time, yada, yada.
I mean, we are really in scary times, and we should all take it very seriously. Like, there's a part of me that feels like they've got me anyway. Like, they've just got me if they want me, right? Like, it's too late. But then also, there is something that feels really satisfying about denying them a step or two, just to like throw a little bit of a wrench in the cog, you know. All right, so here is smart TVs watching you.
Does my smart TV know what I'm watching?
It's always watching.
How?
Smart TVs use something called automatic content recognition. Also known as ACR, your TV will periodically take a screen grab about every 500 milliseconds. Each frame gets converted into a perceptual hash. Downsamples the frame, converts it to a grayscale image, and then it extracts all of those visual features into a compact digital footprint. These fingerprints are transmitted to ACR servers within 2 to 5 seconds. These servers perform rapid database lookups against massive reference libraries. These work on anything that you do on the TV, whether it's a cable box, streaming services, other HDMI devices, gaming consoles.
So then what does it do with all the info it's collecting on me?
Okay, so all the data is going to be sent to ACR partner companies. They are the ones that do the matching with the data. Once matched, the viewing data is taken and sold to advertisers or data brokers. Over time, this builds a comprehensive viewer profile. What you watch, when you watch, how long you watch it for.
Okay, so there has to be a way to turn all of this off.
Yeah. You can turn it off. You just go to your TV settings under viewing data or ACR, and you can turn it off from there.
I am going to go do that right now.
I still wonder, even if you turned it off, if
that's what I was going to say. The fact that these TVs, our government has the capability to watch you through the TVs often, even though you think your TV is off, if it has webcam capabilities. So just because you click that button, if someone wants it on and they don't need court orders for any of this shit anymore, they can just do it. So I assume that all these are weapons in their arsenal that regardless of what button you click, the government has the capability of using.
I think.
And if you do have a Roku TV, you go to privacy and all the settings are under privacy, by the way.
Okay, good. Yeah, and by the way, like we have a smart TV that also has a Roku plugged into it, that also has an Apple TV plugged in. You know, like we are just pushing all of our data to as many places as possible, really stupidly. Yeah.
Same, but you know, I bought a VPN that's owned by Israel, so we're good.
Hey, there you go.
That should protect me.
They're good at this stuff. And then here's the other thing is, so Flock and Palantir combined, there was a lot of, Flock is all the, cameras,
neighborhood watch.
The cameras all over. And then they were partnering even with
Ring doorbell.
Ring, right? Anyway, then they make an announcement. Ring says we're not going to do that anymore, but they'll just call it, instead of Flock, they'll call it Fluke. And they're like, oh no, we're not partnering with that. Like they'll get around it. Of course, this is what they're doing. Yeah. But also, how do you ensure that the people who are employed by Flock or who are very high up in management aren't using the technology that they have crazy access to look at anybody they want at any time they want, like these disgusting pedophiles?
So right off the bat, Flock is very clear about who is allowed to access footage and data in both their marketing materials and their contracts. For example, no unauthorized users, including Flock safety employees, have access to the footage. Okay, well, a Dunwoody police officer by the name of Bob Carter searched the Flock database 63 times last year for all sorts of things like person on skateboard or yellow truck. But the problem is, Bob isn't a Dunwoody police officer. He's not a police officer at all. He's Flock's VP of Business Development, and also a registered lobbyist. Also, according to public records, on September 30th of last year, this same Flock safety employee logged on and accessed a camera in the gymnastics room of the MJCC in Dunwoody. And as it would turn out, Bob is not the only Flock employee that accessed these gyms' cameras. Randy Gluck is also in the audit accessing these cameras on 3 separate occasions on 3 separate days. Between Flock employees, police officers, and names that I can't trace back to either organization, you can see the combined hours of these people watching strangers and children through this facility's cameras, including, but certainly not limited to, the pool, the Fitline studio, and the preschool daycare areas. And the bigger issue is that what we know is just a tiny fraction. The network is not adequately auditing who is accessing these systems and what they're doing with them. So let me ask you something. Are you okay with Flock employees or police officers or God knows who else remotely watching your children practice gymnastics or watching your family members stretching or running on a treadmill? Will someone please explain explain to me how the fuck this makes anyone safer. I can't believe that this is an argument that I have to say out loud, but children have the right to practice a fucking cartwheel without the police or some dudes at a tech company watching them.
Yeah. The shit's crazy.
It's really crazy.
And they are so these people making the decisions for this shit to be running amok in our government and all of our money paying for it against our will are so out of touch. Don't forget at the Super Bowl ran an ad bragging about their system to find their dogs, and like within an hour was already like, holy shit, this was a PR nightmare. Why do we do it? We got to cut our ties with Flock because everybody knows what this fucking means.
Yep. Yeah.
So we are not on the same page with these fucking idiots that want to run the world. Like, just because they're not
close. And they know how much we despise them. And like nobody, every poll that comes out, voters, regular people do not want any of this. They don't want the mass surveillance. They don't want the data centers. They don't want their jobs being replaced by AI. They don't want any of this. That is truth. That is Ben Jordan is the name of the guy who did the Flock.
And I'm sorry, I want any politician that enacts anything the public is against, at a majority level at least, to live a fucking hellish world. Like you should regret your shit entirely. Everything you do should be changing and branding yourself as the guy who learned from that lesson for doing that one thing that everybody fucking hates. Or you should be hiding for your life on an island somewhere else outside of this country, because if you show up at my grocery store and you put the data center in place, I'm going to let you fucking have it. And that's if you're lucky.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, they really need that type of fear. They are invading our space and destroying our world. Like, I mean, there's no two ways about it. And when they put any of this to a vote, it's always voted down, just like cop cities. But that actually doesn't matter, because then they'll just veto it and override you in the city council. This was in Oakland County, Michigan, at the Board of Commissions. Another woman who, like all of us, just lost her shit in the middle of this meeting.
Getting close to that breach of peace, so it's fight against everybody else. And this is a public forum. You can't have that.
It's not her fault. Flock is working in partnership with Palantir. Palantir is funded by Peter Thiel. He is one of the richest men alive. Palantir is named after the evil all-seeing eye in Lord of the Rings. And that is an accurate name, because Palantir has been used to track and surveil and murder people overseas. That same technology is being used with Flock Safety to funnel all of our data into a system that knows everything about you. Everything about you. And they have complete rights to that data. They might say that the data is secure here, but they do not own the data. No. And never once have we had technology where our data has been protected. Nope. Never once. Nope. And what are they getting out of us? What are we getting out of us? This is not something we just let happen. No. And that is what they're trying to do today. If this is who represents us, vote them out. 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 Vote them out.
She's
I love
disturbing the peace. She's got a little talking to.
Yeah, I love it. Look, if you can't vote them out, out. Let's just go with out. Out. Yep. Out. Now, don't look, the shooting, for example, of the congressperson's door where he has family involved. Like, don't change the public's goodwill by harming anyone innocent, you know, ever. Like, that's critical here. But if something happened to that guy, I'm not going to fucking cry. I'm going to have a fucking segment on the wheel for it. So.
Absolutely, because he's choosing his donors and his money and his comfort over humanity. As he says, where's the humanity? I mean, yes, I agree. I don't want wildfires spreading that destroys, that destroys our environment, that kills people, it kills animals, like all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, don't kill somebody's kid. But, that's where we need the real, what Palantir brags about, target. Target the real criminals.
Yeah, which in some cases where I'm like, the open source AI might be there might be a good use of AI. Like it could exist. It could. Solar power, I don't know. I'm just saying it's possible.
You never know.
The people's AI.
Should we spin before? Yeah, the people's AI.
Yes.
Should we spin before we go on to some of the ChatGPT discourse or even a whole other subject? I'm not sure.
We absolutely. Wait a minute. Did you put yourself ahead?
I haven't even touched it. When did you put that up? What? Did you just do it?
We have new poll capabilities, so I don't know. People can vote however they want.
But when did you put that there?
I just put it was up already with the.
Did you get it started by voting for each of us?
I did not, but I don't
know.
Honest. I think I'm gonna take off here. They only
them all.
They only count your vote
that's
once.
All you.
They only count your vote once. Oh,
you're just like thumb on the scale for yourself.
I was trying.
That's crazy.
I was trying.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. That's my co-host. Jeez. Okay.
All right. I'm just fucking around here. We should use this for good sometime though, if that's possible.
Yeah.
We have poll capabilities now.
A real poll. Wow. Jay's all over you, Pat. He's really into you. I'm a little hurt.
The poll just ended. No more votes.
All right. Here we go. You're lucky? All right.
Lucky's voting.
That's what I need. Oh my God. She does a little bit make me crazy. Oh, sorry. I'm supposed to spin again. Okay, wait 1 second. Oh my God. Okay. All right. LOL. That's long. Pick the long one so I can go see who's at the door.
There you go. This is Jad Sleeman. I don't know, but yes. Israel's right to exist. Here we go.
I love watching your TikTok, which is next level. Clearly, that's expressed by my 13-year-old son.
No! God, please, no! No!
If Israel has a right to exist, they're the only country that has that. Honest question, does Greenland have a right to exist? I feel like if they did, they would have brought it up by now. No country has a right to exist. That's why we have armies. If we're being honest, guys, Canada? Canada doesn't really have a right to exist. They kind of only exist because we're being cool about it. When people ask if Israel has a right to exist, what they're actually asking is it right that Israel exists? Which is a more complicated question. You got to think about, okay, how would the last 80 years have played out if it wasn't for this one country? And it's like, yes, we would have avoided 3,000-4,000 wars. But, on the other hand, no Gal Gadot. People say Israel it's like a safe haven for the world's Jews in case there's another Holocaust, or New York City elects a Muslim mayor. The thing is, I've lived in Israel, didn't feel that safe. A lot of machine guns on the bus. It's also, Israel is so small, it could fit between New York and Philadelphia. It's surrounded by enemies on all sides with their backs to the sea. It seems less like a home for the Jews and more like a place you would send the Jews. Like if you wanted to concentrate them all in one place. For good reasons. But when I say Israel doesn't have a right to exist, I'm not saying that it shouldn't exist. I'm just saying, can they stop acting like they're the only fucking people on the lease? When you think about it, they were kind of friends with the British, and then they moved out. And they're still there and taking up like more of the apartment, which is cool, but maybe like don't keep your laundry in the living room. It's okay. This is like I'm trying to do a metaphor. The laundry here is like a legal settlement in the West Bank. Because the settlers are like proof that Israel isn't interested in peace. And I've met settlers in real life. They're stinky.
Hard to do a joke about that, but it's trying.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think the fact that so many comedians are pro-Palestine, it just it's so clearly not even controversial. Like, any comedian does a show, how many people in the audience are going to be pro-Israel? Like, very few. Sorry.
There's two that there's a woman and a man who are both, I don't think they're together, but I've seen clips of them. They're both like major Zionists. And every time, I mean, it's so painful, the jokes, and they just fall completely flat. Because what's the joke? Like, if a Nazi were telling a joke, none of us would want to hear it. What are you talking about?
I've seen the guy. I don't know who the woman is that does that.
Yeah.
But he's so painfully unfunny. And
he's just so used to have it. You know, it's kind of like Trump or all of these, you know, people in power who are so used to just having like sycophants and everybody thinks they're so funny. And I mean, it's like every time you see clips of Israeli tourists out and about in the real world, and people are disgusted by them, just as they should be, the way you would be if somebody were walking around with a swastika on and, you know, a SS armband, right? Which leads us.
I saw the pivot coming.
This cool woman in New York City, I think this is in Times Square, I can't remember now, Jennifer Kunings, spots a couple of IDF soldiers.
In New York City, there are 3 baby killers sitting right there. Oh my God, their numbers keep multiplying. There's like 4 of them now. There's 4 baby killers. Oh my God. There's 4. Baby killers! Baby killers! These guys killed babies in Palestine. Slaughtered babies. Terrorists! Terrorists! Were you guys in the IOF?
IDF.
The IOF. You were in the IOF? The occupation. How many babies did you kill? How many women did you rape? You didn't kill babies? How many? Oh my God. All of
Okay, so she put that on social media. Look at what happened to her.
I expected Zionists to be upset, but I definitely didn't expect this level. But this is a testament to the fact that you guys are losing. Yes, I said what I said, and I would say it again. And that's the thing, right? You didn't say I was wrong. You just said I was anti-Semitic. You can take my job, you can take my professional reputation, you can take my license, you can threaten me with anything under the sun. It still will not change the truth. And the truth is, the entire world has seen your crimes, your lies, your arrogance, your sadism, your complete disdain for anyone who is not like you or anyone who does not submit to you. You guys breathe genocidal. I'm getting the royal Zionist treatment right now. They are dragging me through all corners of the internet, but it's okay. I can take it. You guys have trained me up well. But just know that it is clear to everyone, yourselves probably included, that you have forever lost. There is no amount of PR or paid influencers or free trips to the rape apartheid colony that can change the public opinion on Zionism and Israel. Yesterday, Israel launched a genocidal assault on Lebanon, killing at least 210 people. And you guys are still trying to convince the world that your hurt feelings over the fucking truth are worse than the actual truth? If you can't handle the truth, then maybe it's time to change your ways. Is that anti-Semitic too?
She's awesome. And
Spot on.
They did get her fired twice, actually. She was fired in 2023. She's a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner from New York who showed a viral video of her confronting former Israeli soldiers in Times Square, which she captioned, "Making baby killers uncomfortable again." As they walked away from the scene, one of the men could be heard shouting, "I'd kill them again." Kunings was later fired from her job at Inspire Mental Health Services. In 2023, Kunings also worked as a licensed sexual assault forensic examiner at Mount Sinai Hospital, but was dismissed after challenging claims of mass rape on October 7th due to what she said was a lack of forensic evidence. I'm kind of surprised that TRT World is writing about it with that vague language, what she said, like making it seem as though that's some kind of preposterous supposition when that's the truth. There is no forensic evidence. There's actually zero. Even the UN person who was in charge of doing that investigation said,
Yeah,
no
I mean,
video, no photographic, and no forensic evidence of people's, on people's bodies, nothing. And she was fired.
at this point, it's reasonable to assume there wasn't even a rape. Probably was, who knows? But like with the amount of lies and the incentive for Israel to prove some of this happened is so strong that we would know the details. We would have a name and I get you could protect victims and not have a name, but we would have some evidence trail of some of it by now.
Nothing
it didn't happen
all this time, except that they want to show their fake photographs or fake documentary that not everybody is allowed to see. Everything else they blast all over the place, but somehow this, they weren't, all the things like, below the hospital, there's look at that's Hamas. They were all, it was the scrawlings of Hamas. Oh, look, it's a perfect edition of Mein Kampf. Everything else is like burned to a crisp. But look, I found Mein Kampf, right? Like they're always trying to manufacture some pretend evidence. And they haven't even done that. They always just say, it's like a private screening. We can't show you.
Yeah.
And also,
nobody
even
believes
if
that.
there were rapes, even if there were a few, which would be horrible. Obviously, rape is, it's horrible.
But there's nothing systemic.
There's nothing systemic, number one. And it does not justify what the reason it was used as atrocity propaganda was to try to justify the genocide they knew they were about to commit. And so, that would never be okay. And for Hassan Piker to come under attack because he was like, even if that happened, doesn't matter. And that's what, Dana Bash and Alyssa Slotkin are so appalled by. As opposed to, another article coming out with more testimony from more hostages who have been released, Palestinian hostages from Gaza, who have been released, who talk about, and because their testimonies, people who don't know each other, who have not ever had interactions with each other, end up having the same stories about the way they were raped and tortured sexually by these barbaric genocidal maniacs. It is substantiated. And also because there have been doctor whistleblowers from Sadeh Tanan. There have been doctors who have had to treat people who have their lungs punctured because of a hot prod that was inserted so aggressively it punctured this man's lungs.
Right. And if we had an actual media, the evidence of Israel's crimes is so apparent to everyone. It would be the easiest thing on earth for any mainstream media, if they had permission, could report on this stuff and change the course of what's happening in the world, not even just Gaza.
Yep.
Israel there are over 1,800 people now dead in Lebanon. They're having food issues already. We are watching the same thing happen. This is Nazi shit expansion into other countries.
And it's what we're doing now. We helped do, we've helped Israel do all of it, their attacks. We've been complicit in all of it. But now we're doing the exact same thing in Iran, targeting universities and bragging about it, getting rid of the people who have knowledge and scientific expertise, and they're doctors.
And you've got a leader in Trump just normalizing wiping out a culture like they're primitive, just like Palestinians were primitive. This is how we're supposed to think about Iran now. And yet we're helping the people also.
Yeah,
Lebanon.
The same person is who used as the reason. I know it's like a fool's errand to try to, to point out the loopholes or, the problems in his trajectory of process of thought of what or justification for this, but like one of the many reasons that they gave for having to wage an unprovoked war on Iran was that they had killed so many protesters, even though we know, because Mossad bragged about it and Mike Pompeo congratulated Mossad, like, but we know, and Trump said that he armed the Kurdish protesters, right? So like they tried to stoke the violence of these protests. And by the way, the initial protests that had happened, because obviously, like in any country, there are people who are dissatisfied with the people in power, and there were protests. The initial protests were peaceful. It wasn't until Mossad got in there and armed people that they turned massively violent. But if you're using as your justification how despicable it is to kill people who are peacefully protesting, which is what Trump says, then you don't go and triple tap an elementary school as your first target, which had been, that plan had been in the works for weeks. And then hospitals and medics and universities and
bridges,
synagogue,
and double tapping a bridge.
Yeah.
And
okay, so we are jumping all over the place. We were just we go into Israel. Where are we going? We're kind of all over the place right now. Makes me so. I'm just like,
yeah. Let's go to Israel, but before we do, joy,
Okay,
more joy,
a little bit
faster, harder joy.
Oops, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. Everything is lagging so much. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we do. Come on,
All right, this is a short little, what the fuck from Playboy Man Baby. I think we've shown him before. It's almost music.
We've got slave catchers, strike breakers, Indian school takers, Jim Crow patrols, the clan ice and night raiders. Know your homegrown human rights violators. Know your homegrown human rights violators. The police do not work for you or me, especially the cowards in ICE. They protect the rich and their property. Y'all need to learn your own goddamn history. You call yourself ICE, but all I see, well, that's a bunch of snowflakes. So take the mask off your face and melt away down the drain. Yeah, that'd be great.
Her face kind of fits with him, but
Yeah.
he's funny.
Yeah, with the mullet and everything. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so Israel, they right away broke the ceasefire, insisting that Lebanon was not part of it, even though the Trump regime handed off the exact post that they wanted the Pakistani prime minister to put out, as we know, because he forgot to, delete the part that said to be posted by the Pakistani prime minister initially. But so we know that, and right away they started bombing like major residential parts of Beirut. And again, and they're, of course, just like everything else, it's all Hezbollah. When it's written about in U.S. corporate media, it's all like Israel is expanding the buffer zone in Lebanon. No, they are illegally invading another country, slaughtering people. They just bulldozed over a UN peacekeeper.
And all this is happening in the face of Democrats that won't even tie future aid to Israel to anything at all. Like not a one little thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's really really horrific to see what they're getting away with. And nobody is doing anything. Nobody's doing anything. They just left the negotiating today. Professor Marandi from Iran, and obviously he is a proponent of the current regime. Okay, he still is a human being who has a right, when he is going to negotiate, not to be fearing that he's going to be killed by the people he's supposed to be negotiating with, right? But like even in the Washington Post today or yesterday, I mean, this is the Washington Post. I know, like, it's not my journal that I read, but still, it's a major legacy, supposed to be fairly mainstream media publication. Iran thinks it has leverage. Here's how Trump can prove it wrong. If Iran won't accept the president's terms in 2 weeks, he should impose them. He goes on to say, carry out a final barrage of leadership strikes, eliminating the Iranian officials who had been spared for the purpose of negotiations. Iran's leaders must be made to understand that their lives literally depend on reaching a negotiated settlement to Trump's liking. If they refuse to do so, they will be killed. Like, does that violate any terms of service anywhere?
Yeah, all of them, all the laws of the land that ever existed with international relations. I mean, and just look, I'm beginning to think that Trump doesn't want peace deals to even work. Because politically, he doesn't care, right? The harm to him politically means nothing. He's out of office, whatever. But nothing they're doing makes any sense as far as getting to an off-ramp even anymore. Like
Yeah. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, what's the off-ramp? You're not going to make these guys so fearful that the next leader just says, "Oh shit, I might die. I better work with fucking Trump." That's not a real thing. No. So that's not real.
He is over his head, and he's too stupid. He's too stupid to have known it initially. I think he did think last week, because there were so many people in his ear telling him, you are destroying the global economy. You could be, tried for war crimes. The things that you're saying are so outrageous. All of his, most important supporters, even, from the New York Times, this was, I think last week, they published a piece about in February when Netanyahu came to the Situation Room, sat at the head of the table. So the leader of a foreign country comes into the U.S. Situation Room, sits at the head of the table, and basically says, it's time to strike Iran. And from the New York Times reporting, even the people, even General Kane, Marco Rubio, were surprised and not in favor, but nobody had the courage to speak out against what Netanyahu was saying.
You're underwater again a little bit.
Manic. Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah, you keep pulling. When you get back a little farther, it just kind of falls apart a little bit. Okay, but like we put a lot of this. We put a lot of this on naivety on Trump's part or whatever. But what if it's not that at all? What if it's as simple as the Epstein files, right? What if it's just that? So if Israel wants this war to continue, period, the off-ramp isn't real. So that even the pursuit of an off-ramp isn't real, which more aligns with what's been happening than anything, to be honest. To me, I don't know. I don't see. Look, the latest move is we're going to shut down all ships through the strait.
Right.
Okay, so that's only going to alienate the last few countries that could have tolerated the strait being close to the U.S. because it wasn't close to them to the same level. So now you've turned everyone against us, which means the war must continue. I mean, that didn't work. So what happens? You continue the war, which is what Israel wants, which is what the military-industrial complex wants, which is what Palantir wants, which is what.
Yeah. But
right. So
no Israeli boots on the ground, just U.S. boots on the ground, because nobody from the EU, from NATO, wants to join in this. I don't think any of the Gulf countries have military that's prepared for the kind of ground invasion that this would be. And also, we all know every single military game played out for this situation showed mass humiliation and death for the invading U.S. troops. But I do think that last Tuesday, he wanted a ceasefire. I think that some people got in his ear and they're like, Israel's going to use a nuke. You're going to get war crimes for saying you're going to destroy the civilization. The Strait of Hormuz is not going to open, and the whole global economy is going to shut down, and there's going to be a global depression, not recession. But then Israel, and yes, maybe it is just, maybe it's the Epstein thing, but it doesn't even matter at this point. The only off ramp is conceding, and he won't do that. Unless maybe at some point he will, if it just gets too crazy. I mean, I'm surprised nobody else is coming out with the Epstein stuff. Like, somebody could do that who has actual humanitarian interests in mind, could hack into this, release some of the evidence, which would then neutralize what Israel has on him, and then it would be over. But
yeah, I mean, dude, no one has let us down harder than the hackers.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anonymous, you guys, you peaked 20 years ago and haven't done shit.
Yeah, I mean, and he puts out these.
But look, let's say he is looking for an off ramp and sincerely is just fucking it up, right? Let's go with that angle. So shutting down the strait, I don't even know if that's even really him doing it or just realizing they own the strait and, I mean, very few boats are going to go through there anyway at great risk to them because they're billion-dollar boats. I mean, they're not billion, but they're close. They're like crazy expensive.
Nobody's going to insure them, and nobody wants to face
right.
death,
So,
right?
But that also, but that gives him, like, whatever deal they sign afterwards, he can point to that and say that put the pressure on them for this deal that we got somehow. But any deal they get is going to be worse than before the war started. And that's the rub Trump is in, unless you go further and somehow fucking whatever happens. But he can sustain a war for 2 more years, just kind of the way it was before, but worse, right? And then hand it off, and then Biden fucked it up, or Kamala 2028 fucked it up, and he's out of it. So what's it matter to him? And they're profiting off every step of the war as it goes, as it is. So it's more on the handlers and anyone in government who has any power whatsoever to stop this than him, because his interests don't even matter. He's going to profit from whatever fucking evil shit is happening every time.
I don't think that this is going to last for 2 years. I think people are so outraged already. Like, our baseline is people are desperate. They're blowing up data centers. They're shooting into, council members' homes. They're torching toilet paper warehouses. I don't think that people are in the mood to be drafted for a war that's definitely going to just be Vietnam.
No, I agree. The strait opens within a few months. I think that's inevitable. And then the war, everyone just pretends the strait is not that big of a part of it. We go back to the deal we had before where the strait is sort of off limits for everybody. The U.S. won't go too far in fucking bombing civilians. And then, that's kind of the deal. Or the strait will get shut down again. So, but that's the new normal that was the normal almost before this. So it's not that different, but
it's not that different. Iran's not going to stop though, because what's going to happen is Israel right now is in
the problem is Israel.
Yeah, but also they're not able to do this on their own. They just aren't. Like, people don't want to keep going down to their bunkers for, Tel Aviv is getting hit badly. Their soldiers have now been fighting, even though they do it in the most cowardly, despicable way, but for 2.5 years. And they are fighting on, 4 different fronts. They don't have enough manpower, but they will continue to do their despicable, mowing the lawn, which is even written about as if that's like a normal tactic of some genocidal, disgusting endeavor. But like out of the blue, they will just drop a bomb on Lebanon, Beirut. They'll do something. And so I think eventually it is going to get to a point where, even though Iran has not been the escalating offender, did not start this war, has only met, and not even ever met to the level of war crime that Israel and the US have. but I think at a certain point, somebody might just have to.
It's so hard to know that piece of it, right? Because we see it through an American lens. But if you're in Iran, like, do you see needing to fight for your longevity in a sense? Like, is this war necessary for you to stop the sustained,
yes,
and especially after us killing the leaders and, like, I don't know how people there see it as well. I mean,
with our media, right? Like, I was just listening to this interview with Professor Morandi with Glenn Deason, and the whole time he's like sort of looking over his shoulder. He knows there's a target on his head. He knows that the whole Western elite power structure has no compunction about violating every single, law of war. So, I think the way they talk about it is they don't want to lose their own humanity with how they fight. They know how the world already sees them. I don't know how this ends, but it is truly horrifying.
Yeah, it is. And the problem is, which was so sad that we had Mohammed on from Palestine the other night. And he's optimistic in this Iran conflict, creating space for the world to actually stop all this, right? And I hope that happens, of course, but nothing, seeing Palestine just continue to these other countries and seeing the choice not being made by any politician to represent our interests, and that the public doesn't support any of this, and then it just keeps growing and growing. Like, when we back down from the chaos of maybe we're going to be at nuclear war with Iran or some whatever extreme version and just go back to normal, well, normal keeps Palestine fucked, right? Normal gets Lebanon bombed. Normal gets Syria bombed. Normal gets Beirut bombed, so that normal doesn't work for a lot of people in the region, and maybe that normal doesn't work for Iran. And I think that's kind of the spot we're in, in some ways. I don't know, because we can back down and not be at war with them, but still fund Israel's bombs to them, and then we're not hearing about Americans dying much, and then Israel's civilians aren't even dying much. It's just we're just killing innocent brown people in states that Israel hates.
Yep. I mean, and even, so these are, the goal is forever wars for sure. Although Trump has really stepped in it. Like, he had no idea that this is where it was going to lead, clearly. And he's not going to curb it unless somebody forces his hand, the way Israel is forcing his hand to continue. I do think that if they start the draft, which there's been lots of rumors that they're going to implement that, I think that will change things a little bit. And then also, I do think that the information war is, that's the thing. It's not about the information, because we all know, we know what's happening. We saw daily the most horrific, genocidal acts from Israelis for 2.5 years, and that didn't change anything. Just like we know that most of the country wants Medicare for all and no data centers and no cop cities. Like, so it's not even about the information anymore. It's that somebody has got to stop these deranged maniacs who are in power.
That's where we're at. That's where we're at on every issue in the public now. In government, more or less. None of these people are ever going to make anything better for us. Like, they're just not. And most of us know that now. Like, so much so that in the face of fucking Trump's scumbaggery and open racism and all this shit, Democrats are less popular than he is.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because they do shit like this, which is, it's so disingenuous. It makes me crazy. So this came out yesterday or 2 days ago. So the Jewish Insider is a right-wing rag, right? J Street backs far-left calls to end U.S. missile defense aid to Israel. Israel is capable of paying for its own military equipment, including supplies for its missile defense systems, a spokesperson said. A position which is at odds with J Street PAC's own stated endorsement criteria. And as we all remember, last week or 2 weeks ago, AOC also made this commitment after she had, cried on the floor and not.
Yeah, weird timing, bro. Also,
yeah, super weird. Weird timing, but also kind of a lie. So this is from the Middle Eastern Understanding Policy Project. Israel's proposal to end U.S. military funding is actually designed to further enmesh the U.S. in its oppression of Palestinians. So from the article, in an interview last week with The Economist, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who faces an arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court for alleged crimes against humanity conducted during Israel's ongoing genocide of Palestinians in Gaza, stated that he wants to taper off formal U.S. military funding, known officially as Foreign Military Financing, FMF, over the course of the next 10 years. Senator Lindsey Graham, chair of the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on State Foreign Operations and Related Programs, which has jurisdiction over FMF appropriations, immediately amplified this interview and stated that we need not wait 10 years to phase out FMF to Israel. Instead, Graham committed to presenting a proposal to Israel and the Trump administration to dramatically expedite the timetable for ending FMF appropriations. These seemingly dramatic announcements by Netanyahu and the pro-Israel stalwart Graham came as a 10-year Memorandum of Understanding, that's MOU, negotiated in 2016 between the U.S. and Israel during the Obama administration winds down. In this MOU, the U.S. pledged to seek congressional appropriations of $38 billion of weapons for Israel, which is $3.3 billion in FMF and $500 million for the co-development and co-production of anti-missile systems annually. Okay, so basically $4 billion goes to Israel from the US annually. And they're saying that this initiative appears to be orchestrated with the policy proposals of major right-wing think tanks backing the Trump administration's agenda. Last March, Heritage Foundation published a policy paper entitled U.S.-Israel Strategy, From Special Relationship to Strategic Partnership, 2029 to 2047. Heritage argues for a gradual phasing out of FMF, and here's the thing, while increasing appropriations for the co-development and co-production of weapons and Israel's commitment to purchase increasing amounts of U.S. weapons from its own funds through foreign military sales. Under Heritage's model, in total, the annual flow of U.S. weapons to Israel would increase from $3.8 billion to $4.5 billion annually, despite FMF appropriations being phased out. So in other words, this is a workaround to make it seem and give cover to AOC, Brad Lander, J Street, and act like they're taking a stand, when actually they're going to give more money to Israel, who will be able to use that to buy our weapons. And so it's all a joke.
It's all a branding joke. It's like you're being sold cola and Pepsi's going to be on the rise a little bit, but the Pepsi is owned by the same company making Coke now. Right. So this is just branding. They know how unpopular their brand is, so they're going to give permission for these people who guarantee the money to them still to go against their brand and then start a new company over here. That's a whole different little deal. It's like Chevron passing the Clean Air Act or something too. Like, we wrote the bill, Chevron, because we're so good about, we care so much about you. And in the bill, it says, it must have like 90% coal involved or something,
journalist has to ask them about this. So will you still be voting to give any money to Israel? Do you give money to Nazi Germany? Would you? Do we vote to give more money to Nazi Germany? No, we don't.
Yeah. I want a politician to say their core purpose does not support a dollar going their way for any means whatsoever. In fact, we need to bring back criminal fucking war crime trials. Yeah. Say that and I will believe you. Until you say that, I don't believe you, especially AOC.
Yeah, I mean, truly, somebody really does have to get to the bottom of this so that people don't give them credit for announcing that they're no longer going to fund defensive weapons, because that is a complete misdirection.
Exactly. They're not a dollars headed to Israel in any shape, form, or fact. And find me a bill. Will I vote it for that? And I will rescind my vote or fix it. We'll bring a bill before the court, before the Congress, and change that. But
that's right. They get no money. They get no money.
No
because
money.
They need to spend their money. Their people are used to getting free healthcare because of us. No, focus on that. That's where you spend your money. And maybe if you don't have so much money for your protective weapons or your aggressive weapons or whatever, however you want to frame it, maybe you'll be interested in some diplomacy. So you're not a lunatic nation striking out at 7 countries all at once. We're giving them that space to keep being, to keep committing genocide.
Yeah. I mean, what I want to see is a list of all money and all factors in all forms going to Israel, whether it's lobbyist groups, whatever. I want a chart of what that is now, and I want to see that at zero. Show me that.
$5 billion and more weapons.
And that's not, and that doesn't even include the supplemental things they throw out in front of Congress all the time. Like, 140 for defense, like the Iron Dome needs another 140 billion. I mean,
they need re-education camps is what they need. Did you see Mearsheimer talking about if we had Nuremberg? He had a
yes, this was fantastic.
This is pretty great. He's been fantastic, and the way he speaks to people who have no understanding of his sort of realpolitik take, and how you have to understand other people's security concerns for their own sovereign nations and not just, spread democracy and basically just like grab everybody else's workers and resources and storm into any country you want just because we're the US of A. He's been doing pretty heroic work.
Accept them. That's the basic logic that's at play here. But of course, the Palestinians don't leave. They absorb the punishment. And what happens is that the bombing, the punishment campaign, morphs into a genocide campaign. And if you can't drive out the Palestinians, then you kill them all. You murder them all. And you do that through bombing, and you do that through starvation. And this, of course, is what happened. And this is why I think it is perfectly appropriate to describe what happened in Gaza as a genocide. I want to make one other point about that genocide, which has implications for what I'm going to say about Iran and moving forward. What is truly remarkable to me, as someone who is a realist, who has operated in a very liberal academic and intellectual environment in the United States for all of my life, is the extent to which liberals, dedicated liberals who profess to believe in human rights, said virtually nothing when this genocide was taking place. And it's not only because the Israelis were committing a genocide that I'm shocked and people didn't say anything. In a fundamental way, what shocked me even more was that the United States is complicit in the genocide. There's just no question about this. If we had Nuremberg trials, we're not going to have them. But if we had Nuremberg-like trials, Joe Biden and his principal lieutenants and Donald Trump and his principal lieutenants would be hanged. There's no question in my mind about this. We're talking about a genocide. We know what happened to all those people who executed a genocide between 1941 and 1945 in Europe. They were hanged. Well, I think the same thing would happen to Biden and his lieutenants and Trump and his lieutenants. It's really quite remarkable that hardly a word was said in the liberal establishment in the United States against what Israel was doing and the United States was helping them to do, committing genocide, the greatest of all crimes. Just truly remarkable, in my opinion. And I used to say to myself, there's something wrong here when a realist like me is one of the few people inside mainstream academia who is standing up and saying, this is terribly wrong and something should be done to stop it.
And instead of that, major universities are canceling valedictorian speeches just to avoid anybody speaking out against a genocide. Because how clear is it? Like, if you're young and graduating college and in power, it's one of the most important issues of our time, and not just for Palestinians, but in our fight with our own government and how our voices are so meaningless. And so to be given that platform, any valedictorian worth their weight at all is going to bring this shit up. Yeah. And he's so great on calling out both parties and saying both of their what was the word he used? Not their lieutenants, like they're the mob. Yeah. I love how he used that phrasing. Yeah. Of both administrations would be up against the wall. And he's right. Absolutely. Empathetic Joe with what's his face, Newsom, reposting pictures. Oh, tell me when don't you miss having empathy in the White House? The fuck are you talking about? Genocide Joe and Kamala? Like, what are you saying? And it makes no sense. I mean, he's so bad politically that, like, he even put that out about Kamala, who's going to be running against him. Like, what are you doing? Like, I think he must still be hoping that maybe he thinks they'll team up. He knows. Yeah, no, it must be part of it or something. But, like, no, he's an idiot. And please run. She's going to run. Oh. She's going to come in like fucking 20th in the primaries, which is going to be amazing. It's going to be hilarious. Did you see her at this? Where I don't even know where this was. It is so embarrassing to hear her speak. If anybody happens to miss her or think that she would have been better in all this mess, even though she said there's no air between Joe Biden and me in our policy towards Israel. One, we will have the most lethal army, and Iran is the most dangerous country, and we will have to show them that we mean business, or however she phrased it, like some, So here she is, and knowing, like, I'm speaking when bring a Palestinian up to talk, like, where's her empathy? There's no empathy at all. But now listen to how she switches her tone and talks about the things that people have been saying for quite some time now, like at least a few decades. And we've been, castigated for trying to demand anything from our leaders or in a transaction to get my vote, at least say something, like you're going to do something for us, right?
People are so transactional. I think we need to be transactional voters. I think, yes, it is right when we are trying to get folks to register to vote and to go vote, and it is absolutely right that we remind everyone of our history, especially when they're trying to erase it. We remind people of the lives, the bloodshed on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the sacrifice of those young people at the lunch counter. The assassination of Dr. King, there are so many things that we must remember about history so that what compels us to vote includes not only our civic duty, but honoring the ancestors. Yes, and here's what I'm suggesting in addition. Get yours. Vote and say, I'm voting because I expect something out of this. You're not going to take for granted that I'm going to vote because I'm a good citizen and it's my civic duty to vote, so that you don't even worry about whether you're producing what I need because, we can count on them to vote because they remember the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I'm saying it's okay to also give people permission to be transactional. And to say, if you're going to get my vote, this is what I expect. I'm going to vote because I expect to get something out of this. I'm going to get mine by voting. That's what I would offer. I think it's okay to give people permission to be transactional voters.
I mean, yes.
I'm speaking. Do you want Trump?
Yeah. Look, we should all be transactional voters, but you're like the negotiators with Iran. You're like that. You're gonna blow us up if we fucking show up to your transactional meeting. You don't care about us. You're going to lie. Transactional. You couldn't put a speaker on stage that supported what we wanted. So why are you running around crying about how things would be different? You couldn't. That was our transaction. We had one demand that would have won it for you. Just softening your language, putting 2% of it distinction between you and Joe Biden, and you couldn't do that. So she has no chance. Nobody's buying this. She couldn't even get soft claps at that because nobody believed it in that room.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The more she speaks, I mean, it's like, when Trump, although he won, so. Oh my God, I need to spin and get some more wine. But wait, we missed some super chats, so we want to thank Citizen Vendejo. Thank you. Does Mars have the right to exist? Sorry, this is from a while ago. Does Jupiter? Yeah, exactly. Thank you for your super chat. And jokes on pedophiles. Cheers. I trained my voice to avoid the cameras. Smart, very smart. Yeah, turn off all those cameras. Thank you, Vendejo. Oh my God. All right. Do we spin?
Yeah, let's come back with what we got. We got the Lego fun. Is that where we're headed?
Fun, and we have some ChatGPT.
Oh yes. Stuff
also, yeah, we got some fun.
They're kind of related. Yeah, let's do it.
It's all just kind of silly stuff. All right, here we go. Definitely. I'm calling an audible for myself. Sorry. Okay.
All right. Let's see. ICE as TSA agents. This is a nonogram. I've shown them a couple times.
Bag check. Got any Mexicans in here?
Sorry, what?
I'm just kidding you. They're small, though. Small guys. All right, boarding pass and ID. Hey, today, pal, I'm not just covering for the TSA, all right? I got a mail route after this, and I'm working the graveyard shift at the DMV, all right?
Why?
ICE is the last funded government agency, dipshit. What do we got here? What's this?
A book?
How's it work?
You read it?
Kinda not going on this plane. Where are you flying today, Gaylord?
San Francisco.
We're rerouting you to somewhere less woke. Catching the 10:15 to Tuscaloosa.
I have a wedding to get to.
The hell's this? Some sort of travel-sized abortion device?
That's a head scratcher.
That's what getting an abortion feels like? That's incredible. Regardless, we're gonna have to pat you down. Whoa, I'm not patting you down, sweetheart. You're gonna have to pat yourself down.
Pat myself down?
Yeah, this isn't one of your multiracial bathhouses. God, you people make me sick.
Okay, I'm good.
All right, last question. Who won the 2020 election?
Joe Biden.
Which seats 6A, P45F, and rescind pretzel privileges? All right, you're clear. Next. You're good.
Oh my God, it would be funny if it weren't true. It's crazy. You know what? I know we're going to end on like the Lego and the ChatGPT stuff, but there were two other things that I just wanted to quickly say, because this is like a cool thing. Is all right. So we had pulled this last week, but we didn't get a chance. And in relationship to the, since we were talking about like the people rising up. And we've got we still do have a couple of good videos of people rising up and actually doing something. But this is happening in Israel. And this woman wrote a whole thread on it. She is a Palestinian scholar who writes on green colonialism. So this is an article from Haaretz about the Israeli forest dying. More than 1 million pine trees died in a year, and I mean, this is incredible. No one knows exactly why. Well, this scholar is going to explain it for us, Dr. Gada Sasa. So, Israel boasts about having planted 250 million trees since its founding. 90% of those trees are not indigenous. About 50% of the planted trees are Aleppo pines that originated in the south of Europe, mainly Spain and North Africa. The article doesn't note that they're invasive. Israel planted monocultures of these pines over the ruins of Palestinian villages to hide their existence, prevent Palestinians from returning, assert claim over the land, and greenwash its state image. I describe this weaponization of tree planting as green colonialism. The article shows pictures of pines dying in the forest of the martyrs from last month. Israel planted 6 million trees there to symbolize the 6 million Jews who were killed by the Nazis. What the author doesn't state, however, was that they were planted over 5 Palestinian villages. Israel expelled hundreds of inhabitants from the 5 villages of Deir Amir, Kirbat, Al-Umar. Sorry, I'm going to say all these villages improperly. I am so sorry. Kazla, Beit Almaz, and Aker before destroying them and planting the forest in 1951. Every pile of stones was a home. Here are pictures of Aker from 2023 and the graying trees. Israel chooses these pines since they grew quickly and Europeanized the land. Zionists also claimed these trees dominated Palestine when it fell under the control of the ancient Hebrews. The Haaretz article reveals Israeli pines are now turning gray, completely drying up and dying in the region around Jerusalem and either further in An-Nakab. Unrecognizable Bedouin villages have also been destroyed to make way for the plantation of Israeli man-made forests in An-Nakab. Instead of making the desert bloom, afforestation has been desertifying the region and increasing local temperatures due to high water consumption. Israeli pine monocultures have also been called pine deserts, even by Israeli researchers, since they shed needles that acidified the land and eroded biodiversity, weakening the health of local ecosystems and making them more susceptible to disease. So the 2 takeaways from this article are that we are witnessing what may be called, I love this, a land intifada. For decades, Israeli planted pines couldn't adapt to the land, and now they're collectively dying. The oaks, olives, oranges, and figs, the black goats and camels are returning. The ruins of the homes Israel desperately tried to conceal are revealed once more, and the original owners are able to return, rebuild their societies, grow trees that actually bear fruit, and tend to their lands in a sustainable manner. I just love the idea that nature finds a way, and you cannot, no matter how hard they try, at some point, they will not be able to control all of us.
Let's hope. And the orcas and the dolphins and all the wildlife fighting the rich bastards, the submarine imploding, like, our overstated value in the world is deteriorating, and I'm all for it. And this is so symbolic but beautiful.
It really is, because they have worked so hard to craft something that's a lie, and it's horrific, because at some point they won't get away with it. At some point it will be over. But they're obliterating so many people and just destroying so much on the way out. But I really do love that. A land intifada. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for indulging me. I love the way that woman wrote, and I'm sorry because I didn't pronounce some of the words properly, but truly that she, I really appreciated that whole article of hers. Okay.
Same.
Let's go to some fun stuff. Well, I mean, there is some. Do you want to do a Lego? Is that what you're looking for?
Oh, whatever. Wherever you want to go. I'm good.
Well, 'cause
I'm just
these
over here
people-
petting my cat.
I know,
Who
you're
cares?
so good. I
Whatever.
know. I'm all enraged, and you're like doing a whole thing to like calm your blood
Zen.
pressure. This is People Against Genocide in Hampshire, UK.
يا فلسطين بنحبها طول وعرض وانا جاي وبدق الباب امي بتحب الارض فربينا حب البلاد ومهما كبرنا ما نسينا كيف الكتف دقة كيف انسرقوا بيوتنا كيف انطردوا جدودنا ومهما كبرنا ما نسينا كيف الكتف دقة كيف انسرقوا بيوتنا كيف انكسروا قلوبنا وغني عتابة وعالقرف شعبي جبار وفي خوف شعبي بينادي وفي صوت بس احنا معاكم عالموت وغني عتابة وعالقرف شعبي جبار وفي خوف شعبي بينادي وفي صوت بس احنا معاكم عالموت
I love it.
It just reminds me of Office Space, the movie where
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
destroying the
totally.
computers and that song, and they're trashing it, and they're
Yeah.
playing like some punk music or whatever. But that's how we should hit every AI center. I mean, like, I'm not saying go do crimes, but go do some crimes.
Yeah.
But AI centers, they're responsible for Palantir and all these groups that are doing all this fucking evil shit in the world.
Yep.
And their goal is to replace us. And at best, we have a society that we don't work as much. And maybe there's some social equation that changes in our favor. It's not going to happen. It's going to take 100 years. It won't be in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So the social equation is we all fucking are a little more hungry, and we start having roommates in our 80s in our fucking little apartment, right? That's the equation that is going to happen if we're lucky, right? So all the data centers are our enemies, period.
All the data centers, all of the tech firms, because they're all in bed with these people. I mean, that was the final straw for the U.S. acting against Francesca Albanese, was when she, her report on all the different corporations that are complicit in this genocide. Yeah, exactly. And then this one is much shorter, but also pretty amazing. This is in Shannon, Ireland. I'm kind of shocked that there's any U.S. Air Force plane allowed there. But
Yeah,
some
Steve was
guy-
bringing this up earlier.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
Some guy
yeah.
got on top of a plane, an Air Force plane, and just started hammering it. And apparently, if anybody touches any part of it, it's out of commission for weeks because they have to just make sure.
Oh,
you know-
no.
Yeah.
No.
So,
Hammering the fucking
I don't know.
developments. It's too hammering the wing.
Hammering the wing.
Multiple dents now. Several dents.
Pretty great. Anyway, it's not like an exciting video, but it's such an amazingly effective thing to do. Now, of course, they're going to throw him in jail. I mean, you see what they did to those Palestine Action people who finally were released last month, and now there is an appeal to send them back. And just yesterday, the Met Police in Metropolitan Police in London arrested 523 people, peaceful protesters who support Palestine Action and are
Raise your hand if
anti-genocide.
you're a cat supporting Palestine.
Oh, look at her! Oh,
She's stuck. Anyway, I love it. Look, you can't. You're never going to be safe doing any of these actions. You have to be willing to risk going to prison. If you do any of this stuff, you shouldn't be texting your friends about it. You should never brag. You should have clothes on that are,
yeah.
I don't want to see anyone go to jail for this. I don't want a Luigi to be in, you're going to end your life in jail. But anyone who does it, they're sacrificing for us. So I'm going to support them until the end. So
Absolutely.
it's amazing.
and they're getting arrested and being prosecuted and persecuted for standing against genocide. Like, this is all to protect genociders. It's crazy. All right, let's do some fun.
Fun.
Do
Oh,
it.
the Lego?
You're the fun guy. You're the fun one.
What? I'm not the fun guy. Not at all. But let's get the fun.
We got a few of them.
Okay, so when we set up these Lego things, 2 facts. 1, AI sucks. We don't like AI. But they're AI. But this is news from Iran. I think we got to enjoy it where it is enjoyable and appreciate it as the news. And in our modern era, unfortunately, this is the news. This is PR. And also, in some ways, it's a little dehumanizing, as our friend Zainab has brought up a couple times. And we don't want to add to that piece to it.
Yeah, we're not minimizing the horrors, but it is newsworthy in that the way, you see the way Israelis talk about their efforts, and it is like the brazen embrace of the damage that they cause, of the devastation, of the torture, the dehumanization of their enemies. That is what they're putting out to the world. And that's what the US puts out, right? Like the AMSR, the chains clinking, the showing, like basically snuff films, like actual footage of us bombing fishermen in the Caribbean, right? So this shows what a different PR thread might look like.
Yeah. 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 He on the phone talking tough like a sitcom dad. All caps in the chat, little finger so mad. Bomb this, hit that, like a board game brag. While the map got names that he barely can flag. Golf cart general, sweet side strategy. Talking about war like it's brand new batteries. Change them, charge them, quick clip fantasy. Meanwhile kids duck, dust, breathe gasoline. He say maximum pressure, that's a phrase, not the plan. Heard it from a guy who heard it from a man. Oil on the brain, camera in his hand, turn the whole coastline to a campaign ad. Loose lips, tight sanctions, whole world watching the tantrum. Talk big from a gold top mansion, but you can't bomb your way to an answer. Loose lips, tight sanctions, real lives under those captions. Talk boy like it's just transactions, but you can't bomb your way to an answer. No, you can't. He say fire and fury like it's cable talk. Treat nukes like props in a lobby walk. Pull a pen from his tie, started drawing chalk. Lines on lives he will never have to walk. Rats for the base, got the crowd all loose. Wave a flag, sell fear, cut truth loose. Stack chips off clips, talk peace in the suit. Leave vets with the bill and the folded salute. I ran on the screen, he just seeing the stage. Ancient streets, long prayers, real names, real age. But it's ratings all over the page. Flip whole histories for a 15-second raid. Loose lips, tight sanctions, whole world watching the tantrum. Talk big from a gold top mansion, but you can't bomb your way to an answer. Loose lips, tight sanctions, real lies under those captions. Talk war like it's just transactions, but you can't bomb your way to an answer. No, you can't.
I love it. I kind of love it.
I mean, I pretty much love them all too, other than I wish you could do it without AI, but this is one of those things where, look, they can rapid response in a way that puts out something relatable to everyone here.
Yeah. Now,
they're not arrogant bullies.
Studios. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Persian Boy Studios and Explosive Media. Explosive Media's YouTube channel was just banned. Took down all of it. So clearly that means that people are worried that it's a little effective because they they know how to market
Of
themselves
course.
as people who believe in humanity and civilization. All right, you want to show another one?
Oh, yeah, let's keep
We
going.
have so many.
What do you got? Next,
Are you doing it?
Lego Minob 168. Yeah. Here's another one.
Yeah. They begged for a ceasefire. Now we bring our children to the table. Minop 68, Minop 68. You killed our babies, now you wanna talk? Blood on the bags, ghosts in the seats. We remember everything. Feel the heat. Empty seats on the flight, they named Minop 68. Photos of schoolgirls, bags and shoes stained with grief. Shajadat Tayyib and turned a graveyard in one flash. When 68 little souls gone while they were learning in class. Tomahawk from the sea on the very first day. You started this war, then begged for the peace. Now in Islamabad we walk with our pain, carrying our children straight to the table again. You smile, shake hands like nothing ever happened, but the blood on those seats screams the truth you're hiding. Minop 68, Minop 68. You killed our babies, now you wanna talk? Blood on the bags, ghosts in the seats. We remember everything. Feel the heat. Yeah, you forced this war, spilled the blood of our flowers. Now you sit at the table, hiding behind your powers. Heavy hearts, heads high, it's a sacred defense. Every child's name gives us unbreakable strength. You can talk all day, make promises again, but we've been burned before. We won't fall for the game. 168 reasons carved into our soul. Those empty seats will never let us forget the toll. School bags on seats, tiny shoes and white flowers. Innocent dreams turned to dust in 1 hour. We brought them with us to Islamabad. Sacred defense. We remember. Hey, hey. Blood will be paid. Minop 68. Never fade.
I mean, our
That's good.
media has said nothing about these children who were slaughtered in a triple tap by the US as our first attack on Iran, right? So like also we've got whistleblowers, US troops whistleblowing who were stationed in Kuwait saying that they were sent towards the danger knowing that there were areas that were going to be bombed. And the difference in the way people value human life is worth pointing out because, like, nobody talks
The
about
difference, and these little short videos get so much information packed into them. That's the value.
Yeah.
And they're catchy. You know, it's not like some musical song you're going to buy the song, but it's like, everybody gets it quickly. And it shows. I think the psychological thing is it shows I said this before, but they're the same as us, right? They're using technology in this effort. They're not
storytelling,
primitive people. Yeah. They are just as advanced as us. They're actually fighting this technology warfare better than us. And the humanity behind it is something that doesn't get described by our media. So you see some humanity in a fucking Lego video.
Yeah.
Like, and the Lego piece of it psychologically is also like, kids are involved and like it's just layered with
honoring the people who have been slaughtered. We don't do that. We don't do that for our own people. Trump wore a fucking baseball cap to greet the coffins.
Yeah, and they use old footage to pretend he didn't too. It's just it's
okay. There is another one, and then do you want to show the other one? It's the liar one.
Liar.
Yeah. Thank you for the
Liar.
super sticker H299. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
keep that same energy. You ain't nothing but a fraud. Yo, call him what he is. Liar! Yeah, hey, loser, come closer. I'm the exposer. Fake billionaire, your whole empire opposer. You step down, another liar takes the crown. The whole system is a circus. You're just a clown. You drop fake news, sitting high in your tower. Morally bankrupt, just drunk on the power. You're fired. Played your last trump card. No more aces, boy, you're discarded. Look in the mirror, tell me what you see. Big ego crushed, fake reality. We covered in stone, we spell it in the fire. Ready for the truth, call him the liar. Labor of blood on your pride. Island Epstein secrets you hide. All your crimes buried deep inside. Rotten systems, you're gonna slide. L-I-A-R. Yeah, we see you. L-I-A-R. We don't wipe us off the socials, yeah, you're hiding in fear. Trying to silence every voice you don't wanna hear. From the MJ to Diana, yeah, we see how it goes. The system buries light, but the shadow always shows. Illuminati talks blood and the perjury. You lie about the mission, it's Epstein fury. Yeah, round fool, yeah, the records are proof. Now we expose it all, this is April truth. Look in the mirror, tell me what you see. Big ego crushed, fake reality. We carve it in stone, we spell it in the fire. Ready for the truth, call him the liar. Labor of blood on your pride. All your crimes buried deep inside. Rotten systems, you're gonna slide. Hide, hide. L-I-A-R. Yeah, we see you. L-I-A-R. We don't believe you. L-I-A-R. 13%, that's a failing grade. The world is watching, 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 watching. Liar!
A joke without a punchline. That's pretty good. Boy, they pack a lot in there, right?
They do. And, you know, the beauty of this with AI, at least, is that this costs them nothing to produce.
Right.
And the narcissism of Trump, like his peace agreement is going to have something about this in it.
Sure.
Like you can't, no more Lego videos, no more Lego videos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, man, they've got the Michael Jackson, the Tupac, the Illuminati. They've got, like, I mean, it's pretty great when it comes to that. And so this actually kind of cracked me up. I don't watch Tim Dillon, but did you see the video of him freaking out about the shit talk wars? Which just kind of cracked me up because, like, you know, if we had a party of opposition, they would be saying all of this about Trump, the Epstein Class, about the Democratic leaders.
Yeah.
They would be taking all of these turds down.
And it's such an, like, if you really, anyone who thinks the Democratic Party just cares about winning and that's why they're not following issues, you know, they're not with us on that because it's not so popular yet or whatever. Bullshit. Like, all this stuff is it's a layup to Democrats to take this issue, and you can win easily on it. You win tomorrow on any sport, whatever the public agrees with across the board, you win.
They don't care about it. If only that's the thing that they wanted, to win.
If winning mattered, you wouldn't be following this tact. So shut up about...
Their version of success is not predicated on winning seats. It is just lining their coffers. Truly, there is no other explanation, because they know the whole country wants the things we talk about here every time. Yeah, fine, socialist, lefty, podcast people, but that's what most of the country wants.
And that's what their deep dive into why they lost their what do you call
yours? You get yours in your autopsy. It's transactional.
Yeah, the autopsy.
Don't get yours.
Their autopsy showed support what people want. That's it. That's what's in the hidden autopsy. Right there.
Yeah, cancel that. Nobody should see it. So here's Tim Dillon on the shit talk wars.
So we've lost. There's nowhere to go. It's checkmate. We can't do the things we think we can. We're tweeting, we're truth socialing, whatever. We're trying to win the war on social media, and we're not even doing that because do you have the Lego thing up? Can you get that Lego video? We're not even winning the shit talking war. We're not even winning that. The shit talk? You think America would win that, at least? If we're going to win one thing, we're getting bodied by Iranian AI in the war of shit talk. Truly. How embarrassing. We're the country that invented shit talk, and we're getting lit up. Take a look.
Orange pig. America first? Oops. Oh boy, that was the slogan you sold. But Bibi's pulling strings and your vote is getting cold. We're not just fighting for Iran, hear this clear. Your people reached out to us. Yeah, we got the DMs here. If one nation's gonna stand against the Epstein regime's fear, it's us till the last breath. We've been doing it for years. We're standing here for everyone. Your system ever wrong, they've known all along.
How are we losing in this? We are getting bodied with the Lego stuff.
Stealing from your own people, making them bleed, taking tax dollars just to fund your own greed. They waking up to the lies, the illusions of birth. You screamed America first, now you put
unbelievable.
Make Israel great again. Your government is run by pedophiles. They ordered you to die for Israel. They ordered you to die for Israel. They lied to you.
I mean, we're not even winning that. We're losing that. I mean, it's unbelievable. God.
I love him like dancing to it in the back, right? That's Tim Dillon, who I think was one of the podcast comedy bros who like pushed Trump because he was going to be he was going to fix the economy and be a peace president, right?
Yeah, look, Trump has MAGA is like 1/3 of what it used to be. And if you look at the podcast sphere of people, they've all mostly left him because they know their long-term survival is not being latched onto Trump anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Because Trump is a shitbag. You lost fucking Megyn Kelly. You lost fucking Candace Owens. You lost Tucker Carlson. These people know that what's happening now is untenable in the future to be the position you supported.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that. He lost everybody, and then he does his crazy ranting, truth socials and smears them all and talks about like who's better looking. I mean, he's such a little cry bully. He's such a baby. Jessen, I'm looking for your post and now I can't find it where you said that you had thought that George W. was the worst, which I was just saying this last week, or not last week, when he first attacked Iran. That was the final straw. I mean, I think this whole second term, he's been in George W. territory for me. But
yeah, I give worst to Trump, George W., Biden.
Yeah, I think I would.
Although Biden's normalizing it, created the worst of Trump. So in some ways, Biden, who also was behind every piece of awful legislation that we are all fighting against on the left.
Everyone, truly.
So in some ways, it's Biden, honestly. But yes, Trump.
Biden has been in power longer than either of the other two was in power, right? So yes, absolutely. Steve Friedlove, thank you so much. We can't help others if we can't help ourselves. Start with securing 3 days of food, water, and a go bag, then 7 days, then 1 month, then 6. Talk to neighbors, friends, expand your networks, build the means to resist. I think that is so profound and critical and necessary. And thank you for your generous.
Amen. And if you have the means somehow, like, just start creating a food network and feeding people, like just regular people, man. Yep. I mean, honestly, like that's amazing to me. Community gardens and like getting that food out to people is something we can do now. I mean, it's illegal in some places. That's how much. That's how effective it is. I mean, some of the community gardens, it's fought by some community,
God.
Yeah.
They're just going to outlaw anything that could help restore our humanity.
Yeah. Well, you got people at these economic conferences saying, air is going to be, we're going to charge for clean air soon.
I mean, the fact that they can charge us for water.
Clean air. Yeah. Water. Just water.
In a plastic bottle. Thanks. Thank you. All right. Probably we can go out on that unless you want. I think we can show some of those chat GPT another time, right? Unless there's
it's a lot to get into with all of it.
It's like a whole other thing.
But just know that all the AI guys are getting handed their ass on social media now. They're all known by name, which is fucking amazing. An AI corporate guy, like 5 years ago, nobody knew who these people were. They knew like maybe two, maybe Elon Musk.
Thought they were the good ones, right? They were the ones who gave us, the good billionaires.
And now everyone collectively is like, oh, these guys pushing this AI shit. It's connected to all the whores in Palestine I don't support, connected to all the surveillance I don't support, connected to all the everything in the world.
Job replacement, the unemployment.
At best, when this works, we all get fired, and we're seeing all these companies make record profits and still fire us. So yeah, people are awake and aware, and bad things are starting to happen to these people, and it can't come fast enough for me.
Mangiamo. Manja. Absolutely. I think these, it's good for them to be scared. That is the whole deal, right? It's the thing that Chris Hedges always says, that like politics is a game of fear, and they don't fear us. Clearly, they lie to us about not funding defensive arms for Israel when the plan is really they're going to up the budget, but make it seem like it's actually that we're denying Israel money when we're giving them more weapons and more money. And that's the Democrats. That's the lefty Democrats. That's the progressive Democrats.
Yeah, which is why we can't trust any of these fucks ever by what they say. It's what you do. And if you did bad shit before, like Tom Steyer, I don't care if you say the right thing forever. You're a billionaire from hedge funds, you fuck.
In private prisons.
So, yeah, you'll never get my vote. Period. If you gave away every dollar you owned and lived in a fucking tent, okay, we'll talk. Until then, fuck off.
Yeah. Never Steyer, never Newsom. Oh, and okay, we did talk about what's his name, Swalwell, a lot on Thursday and all the stuff that was coming forward. Now it's just all over the place, including, first of all, everybody knew and nobody talked about it. And it's a little different if journalists knew and couldn't get victims on the record. I understand that, like, that's a harder thing to write about. But the fact that, do you remember last month when AOC was one of the people who did not vote for the motion of a bill or whatever it was to reveal all of the different accusations?
The staffers' accusations, right.
Against Congress members.
Right.
Oh, it's touchy, it's complicated, we don't want anybody, but fuck
and off. Here it is. It's the Me Too movement stuff. Yep. It's that all over again, because it's like, well, some of our guys are going to be exposed if we let that out. So, the greater good is, if we lose Eric Swalwell on this, oh my God, we can't have that. That's AOC basically. Because
exactly.
Look, This is some open secret shit.
Yeah.
That's what
And
we're
it was
learning right
not
now. Is they
just,
all
like,
knew. They all knew.
improper affairs, cheating on his wife. It's people claiming they were drugged, that they were raped. It's not just like, oh, people have private lives, and if he and his wife had, like, whatever, like a little bit the thing with Kristi Noem and her husband felt like that. It felt like they both knew. And the only thing about that is that because it was a secret from the rest of the world, it opened her up as being vulnerable to blackmail, right? Which you do not want somebody in a high position, not that, like, what we do with it. Oh, okay.
Saucy cat.
Where's your spray bottle?
That's what I deal with. She loves me.
She does love you, but wait, sorry. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He killed me too. He killed defund the police, COVID caution, and genocide. Did a genocide. Oh, and
but other than that, he's great.
Crushed
he's
three
great.
strikes. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Anyway, what's his face is gone. So I don't even need to announce I'm never Swalwell. I'm never Swalwell, but I was always never Swalwell. But he is now stepped away from the governorship.
But I think the significant part beyond his personal failings or whatever that he's out is that right before this happened, the Democratic Party pushed this narrative that everyone's aligning behind the guy.
Yep.
So that's the, like, it's not about him personally. It's that
knew.
they were just like, yeah, let's push this guy. So even if you believe still in your delusional that Democrats mean well, like, they don't even care about winning enough to put this guy out in front of everybody at this point. Like, none of it, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I can't imagine that anybody still thinks that Democrats care about people.
Yeah. No,
Thank you, Jezen. The Trump corruption is a mile ahead of any president now. And I said that because his poll numbers were officially worse than Bush recently. I agree. I mean, he's now slaughtering more people and more corrupt, and the domestic ICE stuff. Like, he's really just out there with all of it. I absolutely agree. All of the people he's pardoning are people who are financially benefiting him and his family. We've got Jared out there making deals all over the place while just, like, hoovering up billions of dollars from corrupt despots while he's continuing a genocide. Like, I mean, they are truly despicable. But yeah. All right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin. All right. We're done. We're out.
We are out. Let's go out with the Oakland Car Jam. I think you pulled this. This is great. Love it.
Oakland Car Jam, baby. Slow down the cogs of capitalism. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Keep punching up. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yesterday, Israel bombed Lebanon 100 times in 10 minutes. This could only be possible with the Oakland airport. We've shown up today to the Oakland airport in a massive car caravan because it's in these very streets and in these very buildings that Oakland airport is transporting hundreds of shipments of military cargo to Israel. The Oakland Port Commission is accountable to Oakland residents, not corporations like FedEx who are attempting to profit from Israeli-U.S. warmongering, and certainly not to Israel, who is making our world more unsafe and who is the reason that our gas prices are skyrocketing, why Americans cannot afford rent and cannot afford their livelihood. From the streets of Oakland to Gaza, to Lebanon, to Iran, we say arms embargo now and get killer cargo out of OAK.